All right, so you know you're here because you want to get knowledge quickly and deeply right.
Absolutely.
And today we're talking about how to actually sharpen your thinking power.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it sounds a little bit like, flexing your intellectual muscles.
Yeah.
But I think it's so much more than that. It's about making better decisions in your life, navigating challenges more effectively, and ultimately just feeling more in control day to day and like boosting your overall success.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, in a world that's so saturated with information, right?
Yeah.
Like, the ability to think clearly, critically, and to really kind of synthesize new information and come up with creative solutions, that's your superpower, right?
Yeah.
That's really the bedrock of understanding and making progress in any area of your life.
Yeah. So we went deep into the research here, and we've got 10 actionable methods for you to actually train your brain to think smarter, faster, and more creatively. Think of it as your kind of personal guide to unlocking your brain's full potential.
Awesome.
Okay, so let's dive in.
Yeah.
The first thing is this idea of continuous reading and learning.
Yeah, and what's so interesting is that across the board, reading came up as a key driver of cognitive enhancement.
Yeah.
And it makes sense because our sources really highlight this idea that your brain is like a muscle, right?
Totally. Yeah.
To get stronger, it needs regular workouts.
Yeah, you've got to train it.
Yeah, exactly. And reading provides that mental exercise.
Yeah, and when you're reading, you're not just passively absorbing words. You're actively expanding your knowledge base. You're in nuanced ways.
Yeah.
And you're strengthening those focus and concentration muscles.
Absolutely.
And there were even some specific book recommendations in the material we were looking at.
Oh, yeah.
That can target your thinking power.
For sure. So we saw Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman.
Yeah. Classic.
That's a classic, right?
Yeah.
It really gives you insights into how your mind works so you can understand your biases and make better decisions.
Totally.
And then there's Meditations by Marcus Aurelius.
Oh, yeah.
Which is more philosophical. It encourages like deep introspection and wisdom.
Right.
And then for creativity, there was Steal, like an artist by Austin Kleon.
Yeah.
And that one pushes you to kind of break free from conventional thinking.
Right.
And find your unique approach.
Yeah, it's a real brain workout routine.
It is.
And one of the sources said something so interesting. They said 10 pages a day.
Oh, yeah, that's doable.
That's it. Or, listening to audiobooks while you commute.
Right.
And I think that's so key because it shows that, small, consistent effort can lead to these huge cognitive gains.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I love the way one of the sources put it. They said, knowledge is food for the brain.
Yeah, it is. It's fuel.
It's such a good way to put it.
It is. And, if we think about it, bigger picture, right?
Yeah.
Continuous learning isn't just about facts.
Right.
It's about building mental models and frameworks for understanding the world.
Totally, yeah.
So the more you expose yourself to information, the more tools you have to analyze and solve problems.
Yeah, and I think the next point really speaks to that.
Okay.
This idea of deep thinking and reflection.
Yeah.
Because, I think a lot of our daily thoughts are just on autopilot, right?
They are. The material we went through drew a really key distinction between surface level thinking and deep thinking.
Yeah.
Surface level thinking is reactive, right? Driven by immediate impressions.
Yeah.
But deep thinking, that's analytical.
Yeah.
It questions assumptions.
Yeah.
And it's reflective.
It's really going deeper.
Exactly.
So how do we actually cultivate that?
Yeah, that's a question.
Like, what are some concrete ways?
Yeah, the source had some good tips for that.
Yeah.
So one was journaling for just 10 minutes a day.
Okay.
It helps process your experiences and ideas.
Yeah.
Another was regularly asking yourself why.
Okay.
And what if.
Yeah.
To kind of explore different perspectives.
Totally.
And I thought this was key.
Yeah.
Taking time to reflect on past experiences.
Oh, yeah.
Both successes and failures.
Yeah.
Learn from them.
Yeah, it's like taking a pause.
It is.
From that constant influx of information.
Totally.
To process what's going on.
Yeah.
And that really links to better decision making.
It does. I mean, the more deeply you've considered something, the better your decisions will be right.
Yeah.
You can anticipate outcomes.
Right.
Weigh different options.
Yeah.
And make choices that align with your values.
Totally. So that brings up a question.
Okay.
For you listening. How much time do you set aside to really do that?
That's a good question, yeah.
Okay, let's talk about brain training, but making it fun.
Okay, yeah.
Brain training through puzzles and games.
Yeah. I love this.
Yeah.
Because you can sharpen your skills while having fun.
Nope.
The sources talked about challenging your brain in engaging ways.
Yeah.
To make your thinking faster and sharper.
Yeah, and we're talking about things like Sudoku chess, crossword puzzles.
Classics.
Ah, the classics.
Yeah, and there are more modern things too.
Yeah.
Like memory games and strategy video games.
Totally.
And even cognitive training apps.
Yeah, like Lumosity.
Like Lumosity, exactly.
Right.
So many options.
It's cool, and all of these, they engage different cognitive functions.
You do.
Right. So you're working out different parts of your brain.
Exactly. Puzzles train your logic and problem-solving skills. Memory games boost recall.
Yeah.
And strategy games, you have to plan ahead, think strategically.
Yeah, and the principle is that by exposing your brain to novelty and complexity,
Yeah.
you're building what they call cognitive reserve.
Yeah, like your brain's resilience to aging and damage.
Exactly.
Wow.
So it's like your brain enjoys a good challenge.
It does this.
Right. One of the sources actually said your brain thrives on challenges.
Keep it engaged.
Keep it engaged, exactly.
Yeah.
So learning and growth can actually be fun.
They can be. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the key is finding activities that you genuinely enjoy. Right.
Totally.
Because that makes you much more likely to stick with them.
For sure. All right. Our fourth method is all about the power of connection.
Yeah.
Engaging in meaningful conversations.
Yeah. This is so important, and sometimes it's overlooked.
Yeah.
But the research really emphasized how conversations with thoughtful people
Yeah.
can stimulate your brain
Right.
and introduce you to new ideas.
Yeah.
It's that intellectual spark you get when minds connect.
Totally. So we're not just talking about, chatting about the weather.
No.
Right. We're talking about seeking out discussions.
You have discussions that make you think.
Right.
And the sources recommended discussion groups and book clubs.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah, because they're structured.
Yeah.
You can engage with diverse viewpoints.
Right.
Really delve deep into topics.
Totally. And it's also about how you approach conversations every day.
It is, yeah.
Like actively listening to different opinions.
Even if you don't agree.
Yeah, even if you don't agree. It's about challenging your own thinking.
Challenging your own thinking, exactly.
Right. And also asking open-ended questions.
Well, that's a good one, yeah.
Right. The ones that can't be answered with a yes or no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's how you get a good conversation going.
It is.
One of the sources said it so well.
Okay.
Talking to the right people will significantly expand your thinking power.
Yeah.
And I think that really highlights how important our social circle is.
It is. It really influences our intellectual growth, for sure.
Yeah, and if we tie that back to reading, right,
Yeah,
it can help you process and internalize that information.
absolutely.
So it's an active and social form of learning.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right, so the next point is something that we all face.
Okay.
Problems.
Yeah, we all have them.
Right. And it's about developing a problem-solving mindset.
Totally.
So they made this interesting comparison in the material we looked at.
Okay.
They compared people who successfully navigate challenges versus those who struggle.
Yeah.
And they said the key difference isn't the absence of problems,
Right.
but the way they approach them.
Totally. Yeah.
So how can you shift from feeling overwhelmed
Yeah.
to actually tackling them?
Yeah.
Well, the sources laid out a few steps.
Okay, I like it.
First, break down big problems into smaller parts.
Yeah, make them manageable.
Right.
Yeah.
Second, use logic and reasoning.
Yeah.
Don't let your emotions take over.
Exactly.
And third, brainstorm multiple solutions.
Don't just settle for the first one.
Right. Don't just jump to the first thing that comes to mind.
Right.
And there was a really cool reframe that I really liked. They said, great thinkers don't see problems, they see opportunities to solve them.
I love that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's that shift in perspective
It is.
to be more proactive and resourceful.
It's about believing in your ability to find solutions
Totally.
and seeing challenges as opportunities to grow.
Yeah. I love that. Okay, moving on.
Okay.
Now, this may seem a bit counterintuitive.
Okay.
This idea of mindfulness and meditation.
Yeah,
Right. Because we're talking about fast-paced thinking, and this is about stillness.
it is.
But the sources highlight that a busy, overwhelmed mind
Yeah.
can be a huge obstacle
Total.
to clear and focused thinking.
Makes sense.
Right. So how does mindfulness actually help?
So there are a few ways.
Yeah.
Mindfulness improves your focus and concentration.
Okay.
It reduces stress and anxiety, which we know can cloud your thinking.
Right. Yeah, totally.
And it increases your awareness of your thoughts and emotions,
Yeah.
which helps you make more thoughtful decisions.
And one source even had this tip.
Okay.
They said, try 5 to 10 minutes of daily meditation.
Yeah, that's doable.
Right.
Yeah.
As a way to reset your brain.
Totally. And the key is consistency.
Yeah.
Even a few minutes regularly can make a big difference.
Yeah, and they summed it up really well.
Okay.
They said a calm mind is a powerful mind.
Absolutely.
Okay, so point number 7.
Okay.
This is about limiting negative thoughts.
Yeah.
And reframing your perspective.
Yeah.
And this is so important.
It is.
Because it directly impacts your thinking.
Your brain believes what you tell it right.
Right.
So if you're constantly negative, it creates a cycle.
Yeah, totally. It's that downward spiral.
It is.
Right.
Yeah.
And that can hinder your thinking.
Absolutely.
So it's not about being overly optimistic or ignoring problems.
Right.
It's about how you approach them.
It is how you interpret them in your mind.
Right.
So the material had some good examples for this.
Oh, yeah. Okay, what were they?
So instead of saying, I can't do this,
Right.
ask yourself, how can I make this work? Instead of, this is too hard, say, this is a challenge I can grow from.
Totally.
And focus on solutions,
Yeah.
not just the problem.
Right.
These are powerful shifts in the language you use with yourself.
Totally. And the sources emphasize this. They said, the way you think shapes the way you experience your life.
So true.
Right. So make that choice to think positively.
Cues positive thinking, exactly.
Right. Because your thoughts aren't just passive reflections.
They're not.
They actively shape your experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's move on to point number 8.
Yeah.
This is about fueling your brain with a healthy diet.
Yeah.
And this is so important.
It is.
What you eat directly impacts how your brain performs.
It does.
A poor diet can lead to brain fog, low energy, and poor thinking.
Definitely. Yeah.
So what are some of those brain-boosting foods?
So the research highlighted a few things.
Okay.
Omega-3 fatty acids, which you find in salmon and walnuts.
Yeah.
Those are crucial for memory and brain health. Then blueberries and dark chocolate.
Oh, nice.
Those are rich in antioxidants.
Okay.
They protect your brain cells.
Yeah.
And green tea and coffee, in moderation,
Oh, yeah.
can improve your focus.
Right. It's really like fueling your brain.
It is.
Like a high-performance machine.
Exactly. One
Good.
source said, fuel your brain like the high-performance machine it is.
Right.
Yeah,
You've got to give it the right fuel.
you do.
Okay, point number 9.
Okay.
This is about exposing yourself to new experiences.
Yeah.
Right. It's about getting out of your routine.
Totally.
The idea here is that routine thinking leads to routine results.
It does.
If you want to expand your mind and think differently,
Yeah.
you need new experiences.
You got to break out of that routine.
Right. So how can you actually do that?
So a few ways.
Yeah.
Traveling to new places.
Yeah.
Immersing yourself in different cultures.
Right.
That broadens your perspective.
Yeah.
Taking up new hobbies.
Yeah. Like what?
Something creative like painting.
Okay.
Or learning a musical instrument.
Yeah.
Or even learning a new language.
Totally. Yeah.
All those things engage different parts of your brain.
Right.
And foster new ways of thinking.
Right.
And even trying something that makes you a little uncomfortable.
Yeah. Get out of that comfort zone.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
That can push you to think differently.
Absolutely.
And one of the sources said something really interesting.
Okay.
They said, every new experience adds a new layer to your thinking power.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's cumulative,
That's
right?
great.
Like all these little things add up.
Yeah. Each experience gives your brain new information.
Yeah.
Challenges it in a new way.
Right.
Makes you a more adaptable thinker.
Totally. And that leads right into our final point,
Okay.
which is setting aside time for creative thinking.
Yes. Love this.
This is like letting your mind wander a bit.
It is.
And you know, it's so cool.
Oh, I.
A lot of the great thinkers,
Yeah.
like Einstein, Da Vinci, Steve Jobs,
They all made time for daydreaming.
they did. They let their minds wander.
Right. And it seems counterintuitive,
It does.
but it's crucial for creativity.
It is, yeah.
So how can we actually do that in our busy lives?
So a few things.
Yeah.
Schedule thinking time every day,
Okay.
even just 10 or 15 minutes,
Right.
just to let your mind wander.
Yeah.
Keep a journal to jot down ideas,
Okay.
no matter how crazy they seem,
Right.
and brainstorm solutions without judgment.
Okay. Yeah.
Let it flow.
Let those ideas flow.
And it's about giving your brain space,
It is. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To connect ideas and explore possibilities.
Without the pressure of needing a specific result.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love how one of the sources put it. They said the best ideas come when you give your brain space to think freely.
Absolutely. Sometimes the most powerful thinking happens when you're not forcing it.
Totally.
You're just letting your mind roam and make those connections.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
Awesome.
10 ways to improve your thinking power.
Yeah, we went from the fundamentals of reading all the way to making time for creative thinking.
Right.
Yeah.
So as you're listening to this and you're thinking about these 10 points, ask yourself which one resonates the most with you right now.
Yeah.
Which one feels like a good starting point?
Which one are you going to implement today?
Yeah, exactly. And to close out this deep dive, I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
Think about your daily habits.
Yeah.
The things you do almost without thinking. Which of them support your thinking power?
Yeah.
And which ones might be hindering it?
And why?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Right.
Yeah.
That's something to consider on your journey of learning and growth.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Thanks for listening.
And we'll see you next time.
See you.